Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Okay, so in this video I'm going to be showing you how to draft a basic straight skirt block. Your waist, your hip depth, and your length. So we're going to be dividing this paper into two: the front pattern and the back pattern. So in order to do that, you need your hip measurement. So that's your hip measurement divided by 4. Now the mannequin's hip measurement is 36, so we're going to divide it by 4, which gives us 9. Inches. Now before we can draw the line, we need the length of the skirt. So you take from the very top of your paper, mark the length of your skirt, which is 17. Now we're going to put 1.5 inch hem allowance, so that will be 18.5. So you need 18.5. So you take your ruler, and then you mark 18.5. So this is the top of the skirt, and this is the bottom of the skirt. So this is your skirt length plus hemming allowance. So we're going to rule that. So this is the front panel, and that is going to be the back pattern. So as we add the 9 inches for the front, we're going to create for the back as well, which is also 9 inches. Zip allowance. So that is your front, back, 1 inch zip allowance. Just label it zip allowance. Now, remember the hip depth measurement, the biggest part of the bum. We're going to use that now. So you take your tape measure from the top of the paper, you measure the 8 inches. So that is your hip depth, that is your hip line. So we're just going to label it hip line. The next step is to determine the darts. In order to determine our darts, we use the apex to apex. Your apex is basically your apex, your nipples. Apex to apex. So you take the tape measure and then you measure the apex to apex. So now I'm using a dress form that already has all of the important lines. So yay, me. But if you don't have that, if you're making for a person, a person, so you just have to take your tape measure and measure from the person's apex to the other apex. I mean, mine is about 8.5, 9, 8.5, 9. But for this, hers is basically 4.5. So we're going to be using 4.5 as her apex to apex. So in order to get a dart, you're going to divide your apex to apex by 2, which will determine where your dart line is going to be. All right. So you take your tape measure and then you mark 2.25. That is from the center of the skirt, that's from the top of the edge of the paper. You mark, you go in by the your dart measurement. That's your apex divided by 2. So then you go in, you go out by 1/2 and 1/2 inch, and then you go down by 5 inches. You should have something that looks like this. So that is, so I'm going to extend this properly again. So we have for the dart, it is your apex to apex, which is your nipple to nipple. You divide that by 2, then you take your tape measure, and then you measure from the edge of the paper and mark whatever calculation it is that you've had, and then you go out by 1/2 inch, and then the other way 1/2 inch, and you go down from the 2.25 mark. That's from your apex divided by 2 mark. Then you go down by 5 inch, and then you connect all of those dots and marks. Now, if the dart is so confusing for you, don't worry, I can create another video explaining darts in general, all types of darts. But for now, I hope you understand what I've just done here, and then we can move forward. So now we're just going to do exactly what I've done for the front to the back. Now, in order to get your waistline, you just take your waist measurement, again, you divide it by 4. Now, remember the dot? We are going to add the dot back into the waist measurement. I'm going to re-explain this so that it doesn't get confusing. When you're sewing a dot, you're basically taking it out of the measurement. So in order for your waist measurement to be complete, you need to add back that extra allowance, that extra dot allowance. So that is 1 inch, half, makes it 1 inch. So you're basically taking out 1 inch away from the waist. You need to add it back to the waist so that your measurement is complete. I hope you understand me. Okay. So the waist measurement is 25 divided by 4, which will give you 6.25. If you add 1, that would give you 7.25. Why are we adding 1? The dot, we need to take it back into the measurement. So you take your tape measure, and then you mark 7.25 in your paper. Same thing goes to the back. You mark 7.25. So you take your hip curve, or your very curve, or your hip curve, whatever curve you have. You place it on the waist mark and connect it to the hip line. You just go. And basically, you are done. Now, so that you don't get confused, we are going to label all of this. Okay? Let's start with the bottom. Remember, the length of our skirt is 17. But we added 1.5 inch allowance, hemming allowance. So we're going to go ahead and mark that 17. So now we're going to add all of the necessary allowances. We're going to write it down. So when you're cutting your fabric, you remember to add the allowance onto the fabric. Add 1.5 inch sewing allowance here as well. Add here, right? I've written unfold already, so you just remind yourself. Cut, unfold. So there is no allowance here, but for this one we already have the zip allowance. This is your zip allowance, so you can just cut it straight up, that, and then here, which is the waist, you're going to add 1/2 inch sewing allowance. And there you have it. Quite straightforward. You see that he shows a skirt? Yes, such miracle work. Alright guys, so that is it for the basic skirt block. I hope that you've enjoyed and understood my tutorial. If not, like I said, just comment below and I will make another video just for you to explain properly. Tell me what you don't understand. Tell me, why do we need this? Why do we need that? And I will explain it to you. But I'm hoping that this video is straightforward enough that you understand and you can see how this can transform into a straight skirt. Beautiful straight skirt. All our talking and calculations led to this. Anywho, so yeah, that is it for the standard skirt block. Thank you guys for watching.